Hi everyone, it's Pat Foley with recruitinginfo.com. We're continuing our series on recruiting during this COVID crisis and looking at, now hopefully we're starting to hear signs of sports reopening. So we want to talk about what's going on with that. This is a first for us. We're going to interview someone who's in the world of diving. I had Steve Sherman with me today. Steve has a deep background himself in the world of diving. He was an All-American in high school, went on to be a scholarship diver at BYU, and now he runs what is been the family business for a while, called Sherman Swim School, which includes Sherman's divers. So very happy to have Steve here with me from sunny California. Steve, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about your program?
It's Sherman Divers. It started in 1961, and my father started it, and I was just 4 years old, and I joined the program shortly after, and grew up diving, grew up working around the swim school. My dad turned out some pretty well-known divers back in the day, some international age group champions that traveled to Europe and took golds, and one that went on to become a two-time Olympic coach, Scott Rich. But after years of trying to find my own way in the world, my own place, he always had me as his target to take over the business. So he finally gave me the ultimatum in 1993. I'm going to sell the business. You want to buy it or not, Steve? And so I wrote down the pros and cons, decided this is a good gig. And my wife and I moved from LA up to Northern California and took over the business. And since 93, we've been running the swim school and the diving school. During this COVID crisis, though, it's been crazy. The only thing I could do is a few Zoom exercise classes and try to keep the kids motivated. And the younger one.
And that's what I've seen actually from a lot of good coaches out there in different programs is that's what they've just tried to do is stay in touch with the kids, keep some sort of a routine on there so that they know they're still on a team. That's what,
Right.
my daughters have been doing that in their sports. And I've heard a lot of that from administrators and coaches in different fields, that they just want to maintain that connection, which is really the only thing you can do right now.
Right, and you feel like you're not doing enough, but you got to reach out and do something.
Yeah. Yep. So tell me a bit about where are we now in the reopening process, or what are you hearing about? I mean, I would say that, perhaps diving, because it does have a certain amount of solitude, it's got social distancing built into it a little more than, say, like a basketball.
I think so, right?
So I think the safety level there would be higher than most. But what are you hearing in terms of when kids are going to be able to formally, get back into the pool?
We're hoping to join the camps. We can legitimize our diving camps as a camp for kids. Now I'm in a lucky position in that we're a private swim school, and I'm the owner of the swim school. Most diving programs are out of community pools, colleges, high schools. Their hands are strapped. They're depending on the okay from schools and community centers, and that's a tougher battle for them.
So for sure.
We're hoping to open in a couple of weeks on a real small scale, just camps, following the rules out here in California, 12 or less per group, no changing groups for a minimum of a month. We've got the chlorinated water as antibacterial. I plan to have stations for the kids to stay at least 6, more like 8 or 10 feet apart. And yeah, they take turns on the diving board. We have a trampoline where they could have a station there. And then before my assistant coach brings on her beginning divers, after our group, we'll have a break to clean the trampoline and the mats and start up again with her group.
And how many kids would you normally, have going through your summer program?
Well, the swimming is the majority of our business. The diving program, we have a smaller team. Mm-hmm. In California, they tend to be bigger. We only have about 30 divers, and that's not at once. I'll not have more than 8 divers at a time in hour segments. But in answer to your question, we've got 30 divers. So this group of 12 um, is less than normal, but we
Right.
expect it to grow once they start opening the doors more.
Sure, sure. Um, have you heard anything? So I've heard a number of things from different sports as to what the the college recruiting program process is going to look like and whether that's going to be any different. Some well, let me ask you a question. When the kids, if you're at the elite level and you're either going to be a scholarship diver or maybe just make a college team or be recruited whether or not there's a scholarship, are those commitments typically in junior year or when does it happen with diving?
With diving, the commitments don't happen the junior year. The interest is there. The coaches want to hear from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not an expert in this topic because I'm neither the high school coach nor the college coach.
Yep.
I'm the in-between, the club coach, the USA diving coach.
Sure.
But I've got divers interested in this. So obviously it's a interest to me. So what I notice is that divers should be reaching out. The college coaches like to know who's interested and junior year, but it's not till unless you're an elite level. And I haven't had such an elite diver like Christian Ibsen. Stanford took them in his junior year and signed a contract, and they had to go get the okay from the football program, baseball, basketball, all the big money income sports,
Right.
to assure them that yes, this is an Olympic caliber athlete that's doing a non-income producing sport. So therefore, we'll to get that full scholarship.
Yep.
But as far as generally speaking, my good divers have been looking and finding colleges that fit them in their
Senior.
early senior year. Usually, I want to say.
See, that's tricky
Start
because
looking juniors.
yeah, I think I mean again, and I have noticed a differentiation in the sports, and if it's if you're in the junior year and the commitments typically happen in junior year, it's a little nerve wracking because you just have missed your season, particularly a spring season sport. But at least you can come back and look at do the whole thing again and hopefully in senior year and so I have heard some sports are basically either they may even change the rules to put eligibility into senior year, or just by practice, a lot of coaches that might normally have committed at least some of the kids in junior year are going to be doing a lot of their maybe most or all of their commitments in senior year. But in a sport where it's very typical for the process not to happen until senior year, obviously that's a much trickier situation because now you've got kids who are in their senior year. It's time to make the decision, and boom, COVID hits. When is the school diving season?
The school,
Yeah.
the high school in California, high schools in Northern California, I think all of California, are February through May.
So right in the middle of it. So they missed probably the most critical year. Wow. That's tough.
So the juniors, and I have one junior in particular that's got talent, and I feel for him because he missed a lot of and he was elevating his level of diving, and so videos would have shown it, and scores and meets would have shown it. So these coaches don't have the new and improved Daniel to go on. They just have some old scores and old video. Now, when we start these camps, hopefully Daniel can pick it up quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still got a little time. I mean, there'll be programs out there with places for him still.
Yeah. And is that a big part of what you'll try to do this summer season when you get going again is get some video done of the training, like almost try to create a meet type atmosphere for him to do an athlete like him to do some video and
very good question. Yeah. And that's our goal.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sure.
And what about, I mean, see, I was a swimmer at least through high school, and I know a lot about the swimming training process, which is very much a curve. You work out really, really hard, and then you taper, and then you get your best times. How does it look in diving? I guess it's a little bit different because you're going for precision more than explosiveness, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah. Swimmers and I used to always have this discussion when it came to dry land, exercising, weightlifting, and all, and cardio work. And they question, well, why do you really need that, Steve? I go, well, we don't expend it all like you.
Right.
I get the question, but we need to be at that level to perform.
You need
and
that
do these
explosiveness
difficult
off. Yeah.
dives.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's definitely a different sport. It's exciting, and yeah, you have to be in really good shape to dive really well. And so that'll be part of this startup process, getting the kids back in shape. And yeah,
Have you been encouraging them to do some kind of dry land work this whole time?
all the time. I don't have with this thing. Get on a bike, go for a jog, hike, stair climbing find a stadium with no one around and just run some stairs.
Encouraging them and having them do it is not always the same thing when you're doing athletes, but you do what you can.
Hopefully some are listening.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, listen, I appreciate the time that you've given me today, and I want to wish you the best of luck. I really hope that you're able to get your program going again, and that the kids are able to get back in the pool again soon. It is exciting to hear. There are, I mean, it's all state dependent, but there are kids who are, at least working out together again now, and hopefully we'll be able to, step by step get where they're all able to work out, and then get them competing again, and getting all these the benefits of youth sports. So
well, thanks for having me, Pat.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Good luck with this endeavor.
Thank you.